So, we started. You have anything to say for the intro?
Leg day. Nobody wants to do them.
Nobody wants to do them.
I should say nobody wants to do them to the extent of that's necessary for growth. I'll say that.
Okay. So nobody really wants to.
People will do leg extensions. They'll do some leg curls. They might do some leg press, maybe squat, but they're not willing to go to that real dark place where your legs start kind of shaking. It's hard to take a deep breath. Lungs are starting to burn, and then you think you might die. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to.
That's funny.
Said, he was like, "Do you want to say anything?" I was like, "Nobody wants to do legs.
Nobody ever wants to do legs.
At least not to the extent that's going to be,
Conducive for growth."
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like getting to that.
Damn, he said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's
It's
wild.
true. It's like nobody wants to go to that level of pain. And then self-inflicted too.
That's the thing is, for legs, you have to suffer. You have to suffer for legs. One big legs, you have to suffer. There's no other way around it.
No. It's like everybody wants to get a chest pump. Everybody wants their arms to get a pump and burn and stuff. But when your legs are on fire, it's a whole different thing.
So what's in the typical pre-workout shake?
So usually it's like a non-stem pump formula. I don't know, the brand I kind of like will rotate kind of the brands that I use, but lately it's been a Hostility Bloodshot. So no caffeine, but just a lot of different ingredients to help with, blood flow, vessel dilation to kind of promote more blood flow. And I usually add some salt, some sea salt to it as well. And then I try to at least down a liter of water in that process during that time frame of kind of 30-40 minutes prior to going into a workout. I'll try to down at least a liter. And then as far as energy or caffeine, I usually will just drink like a Monster, one of the 0-calorie ones or the 0-sugar ones. And that's more so preference, just because I like the somewhat carbonation, kind of like leading into it. Easy carbs. Easy carbs. Okay? Add water. Roasted garlic potatoes. 2.5 fat. 19 carbs per serving. Eat the whole bag in 2 sittings. If you're bulky, then probably like 1.5. Alright, you about ready to rock and roll? So when it comes to legs, I always like to kind of warm up the joints. So usually I'm going to start with leg extensions, but my knees have been giving me some issues. So instead of starting with leg extensions, I kind of save the knees for later on when I'm doing pendulum squat or leg press, and then they feel okay, then I might do it at the end. But while warming up, I don't want to piss them off too much. So starting here, we'll do a few warm-up sets, and then we'll get into some heavier working sets, and then we'll move on. Now, when you're doing seated leg curl, one thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll arch their lower back as they bring it down. What you want to think about doing is driving your lower back into the pad. So kind of like bracing, flexing the core. Drive that lower back into the pad as you bring it down, so that way it's all hamstring and you're not getting any momentum from like your lower back or glutes as you arch. Keep that in mind next time.
So how many weeks is she out?
I believe she's going to be doing USAs. So she's doing USAs, yeah?
Next week.
So I overheard Enrique say it's US and Universal. What does that even mean? Like two
So
separate
it's-
things, or?
Well, yeah. So they're each like names of different shows. So, but they're both like national shows. So at each one, she has the opportunity of turning pro. Now at Universe, she's going to be able to do multiple classes. So they have the open class, and then they're going to have a master's class. Because she's over 35, so she'll have essentially two opportunities in one show to turn pro. And then if not, then she's going to roll into USA's, which is, I think, second or third week of July. And she'll get another crack at it then. So,
Okay, so it's damn back to back though.
yeah.
Is that a good thing in this field, having back to back shows?
It can be. It can be. It depends on how far, like, one, how long you've been prepping, but two, how your body's doing. Is it still responding? And then can it still improve? And then if you're right there, if you're missing it by like one placing, you know, you might as well make another crack at it. Plus, like, if this is your fucking goal and your lifelong dream, like, why stop? You know? Why stop? You're right there. And she's been pretty close in the past. So, might as well try to make it happen.
Moving up or staying here?
Go up.
130?
Once you feel good, go heavier.
You're alright. I think I do have to move this up a little bit though. It's kind of weird. I wish there was like a middle way. Because does your foot move a little bit off or not at all? Not at all? I'm trying to fix my core too.
There you go. Push it in here. See how it wants around?
Yeah.
Arch away. Push it into the pad. There you go.
You like that?
Yep. Now go. There you go. That's all handy. Yeah. That's better. Yep. Come on. Push that. There you go.
What adjustment did you just make for him?
He was doing what I was saying don't do. Just arch your lower back. Try and create like momentum.
Let me see how it's
Essentially,
moving.
you take it off of your hamstring, and you put it onto your lower back. So, like, this is what I was talking about. You go like this. As you push down, you arch it. See how my back wants to arch? Chest gets real big. What you want to do is you want to try and drive it into the pad. Push against here. And then drive it straight down. And it's all hamstring.
Made a huge difference for me too.
So now we're in the working set. So then we'll do 2 more, and we're gonna try and take them as close to failure as we can. Force reps for him. He's just going to control the negative. Here we go, down. Hold it. Fight it all the way up. Come on, do 2 more. Hold it. Good. Let's do 1 more. Grab that lower back. There you go. So this one, we're going to add some force reps at the end to kind of just extend the set. To really push the hamstrings just a little bit further.
Your back's staying perfectly still.
All the way down.
Debbie, I'm gonna hold on, bring it up. Full stretch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, yeah.
So now we're done with this. Now we go to a leg press. Well, we're gonna change it up. We're gonna do 1 leg at a time.
Why is it 1 plate versus, 1 foot versus 2? Just more depth?
No, not more depth. Should have the same amount of depth. But the good thing is, like, or the benefit with this is, like, you kind of prevent any imbalances. If you're constantly doing like a closed circuit press, your dominant side, if you're right-handed, usually your right side. If you're left-handed, your left side. And you got those weirdos out there who are right-handed, but their left side is more dominant for whatever reason. Maybe an injury, who knows? But your dominant side will take over after a long enough period of time. So, with one of the criterias in bodybuilding being balance and symmetry, we have to try and prevent any imbalances. And your legs being such a giant piece of the whole puzzle, if they get imbalanced, it's pretty goddamn noticeable. A bicep slightly imbalanced sometimes isn't as noticeable as a full fucking quad.
Alright, ready to do this one? So I'm gonna do one foot on the top one?
I go slightly in. Yeah. And then I would just slightly turn that toe out. Whichever one you're gonna go with first. Okay. There you go.
So I'll probably go with my weaker leg first.
Yep. Good idea.
And then this leg is just gonna be off?
Yep. Put it on the ground.
Let's see how I do. I'm still diving the knee outward?
Yeah, slightly, yeah.
How many?
Do like 10.
I'm gonna say 11 from the top. Feels pretty good.
It does, right?
Yeah. Now what about those people that you see that do this kind of movement? How they tilt to the side?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. I just feel like it puts like... Some people, they might benefit from it. I never understood it. Because essentially, like, when they turn sideways, it looks as if they're doing this, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand the difference between this and then doing it this way. Like this, you're just now sideways.
And higher risk of injury now.
Yeah, it just feels awkward. Like whenever I did it a couple times, it just didn't feel right, like in my hip and my knee. It just felt weird. I don't know how many reps I did.
No, happy soup. Oh, we're having one or no?
Yeah. Alright, so this will, I'm guessing this will probably be one of the top sets.
Yeah, at least for me, probably.
You kind of want to push, obviously, each side to their like breaking point, and then give yourself probably like 30 seconds, 45 seconds before you hit the next side, because it is going to tax your energy levels to some extent. So allow that heart rate to kind of come back down. Even though you're doing only one leg, it's still pretty intense. Alright, so now pendulum squat. Okay, the setup here is low stance, low on the platform. Feet are about hip width apart again. Toes turned out. We're gonna drive the knees out wide. And the goal is to get your hamstrings to kind of touch your calves. That's the amount of knee flexion you want. That's what's gonna help with that quad sweep. Get bigger quads. Now, some people can't do a back squat, and you don't have to do a back squat in order to get big legs, but you do have to do some form of a squat, in my opinion, to get big legs. Because there's just nothing that really you can swap out for having that load on the legs and then getting to that point where, like I said, your hamstrings touching your calf. You might be able to mimic it with a leg press, maybe, but some leg presses don't always allow it. Where a squat machine, a hack squat, a pendulum, they're gonna allow you to get to that depth every single time. So keep that in mind next time you do legs. Knee flexion, if you want big quads. If you don't have big quads, probably because you're not going low enough. But also control. Don't just bounce. Don't just try to bounce out of the hole. Control it going into the hole and then drive out of the hole.
How forward my knees can go. slight heel raise on his too. So we'll accept it on this one.
Like when it comes to the pendulum itself, because of the way that it rocks, a lot of people naturally when they are doing squats, their first instinct is to like really arch the lower back, like we were talking about on the hamstring curl. So you'll see that their glutes and their lower back will want to trail away from the pad itself. When they come down, they kind of trail away from it and they try to push it up. What you kind of want to keep in mind is similar to the hamstring curl is flex your core, drive your lower back into the pad. If you don't have a lot of ankle flexion, your heels might come up. Now, as long as you are under control, you're doing a weight that you're able to control, don't worry about that so much.
What's the difference on emphasis if I do go all the way up? Does that take off the quads a little bit?
It's just going to be harder for you to get depth.
Yeah.
So you'll go down, control, hamstring touch the calves, drives out of the way. But it's a control. Control going down, build the tension, drive out of it. Control it, build the tension, drive out of it. There you go. Yeah. Here we go. Up. Good. Good. Let's get one more. These last few reps. Whew. You don't somewhat dread the next set when you're not pushing hard enough, especially when it comes to legs. Those are the sets, in my opinion, that make a big difference. Because everything's telling you like you should probably stop, but that's when you come to a crossroads where you go, okay, what are the goals? What am I trying to accomplish? And can I actually do it? I'm pretty Pretty smoked so far. How about you?
That's one thing I had to learn too. When I first started the gym, I was bouncing around like 10 fucking different exercises, thinking I had to hit every single thing. It wasn't only until recently I only hit 4 or 5 things and I called it a day.
Same thing with lion hamstring curls. You don't want your lower back to create an arch too much.
So, quick question. I noticed that you started with hammies and are ending with hammies, but it was a quad fake, like focused leg lift.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, think of what our biggest lift was. The pendulum.
Okay.
Pendulum was the biggest lift. And it's very quad driven. Like I said, I would have wanted to start with leg extension, but like I said, my knee's been giving me some issues. Typically, I would have finished with leg extensions. Had we started with hamstring curls, I would have finished with leg extensions. Had we have started with leg extensions, I would have finished with hamstring curls. So either way, I always do both machines during the leg workout, whether it's quad or hamstring focus. Just because you still want the entire leg to grow and you still want to give them some attention. It's just your focus is on one more than the other.
So I'll show you real quick what you mentioned about the hips being raised. So what Cruiser told me the other day was if that's going to happen, at least try to keep the hips down on the way down.
So if you can, you want to keep them pinned the entire movement. But when you're trying to untrain somebody who's created that muscle pattern or that recruitment pattern where they have to arch your lower back, it's going to take a while for you to break them from that habit. So the way I do is I do it like in steps. Okay, bring it up, hold it, drive the hips down, and then lower it to control. But once you untrain them, they really start to understand like the difference in how it feels. Because I've worked with people when they do this and they're like, oh, I just feel it on my lower back. And it's like, well, you're using that as momentum to assist yourself as opposed to just letting it sit on the hamstring. So one cue that you can try out next time you do this, if you have that issue where your back arches, is squeeze your glutes, pin those hips down, and then try to curl. It's probably going to shorten your range of motion, but it's going to be more of an effective rep than if you do this, hips down, or even if you try to go up on your forearms like that, really drive those hips down. Now your hips kind of stay pinned.
And the lower down leg too. For sure.
So that does it for legs. You have a nice pump. I feel pretty exhausted. Now time to eat and then recover and grow hopefully and then get ready for the next workout. So like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. You're welcome.